Before electricity, before Netflix, before you could doom scroll Instagram at 2 a.m., human beings had to sit in the dark for roughly 12 hours every single night. And what happened during those 12 hours? For decades, historians assumed ancient people just slept, knocked out at sunset, woke up at sunrise, repeat. Clean, simple, boring. But here's what actually happened, and why it quietly explains almost every psychological quirk you have about money, risk, and why you can't stop checking your portfolio at midnight. The ancient human night wasn't empty. It was the most important meeting your ancestors ever attended. No conference room, no PowerPoint, no 401k matching, just firelight, stories, and the slow construction of every financial instinct you were born with. Let's rewind about 70,000 years. You're a member of a band of roughly 30 humans, somewhere in what is now sub-Saharan Africa. The sun drops. The temperature drops with it. Predators that you cannot outrun and cannot outfight start moving. Your entire group pulls in tight around a fire, and that fire becomes the center of your universe for the next 10 to 12 hours. Anthropologist Polly Wiesner spent years studying the Juhuansi people of the Kalahari, one of the few remaining hunter-gatherer societies on Earth, specifically to understand what people do around fires at night. What she found was remarkable. During the day, conversations were almost entirely practical. Where is the food? Who is hunting where? Who owes whom what? Basic transactional talk. But at night, around the fire, 96% of conversations shifted to something entirely different. Stories. And not just any stories. Stories about distant people, imagined futures, moral dilemmas, and the nature of fairness. Your ancestors were not sleeping. They were building the software that runs in your head right now when you decide whether to spend or save. Here is where the finance channel in your brain starts. Every story told around that fire was fundamentally a lesson in resource allocation. Who shared? Who hoarded? Who took risks that paid off? Who gambled and got everyone killed? The fire circle was the original financial seminar, except nobody charged you $1,000 to sit in a hotel ballroom and tell you to max out your Roth IRA. The lessons were embedded in narrative, in character, in drama. The hero who hunted far from camp and brought back meat for everyone was celebrated. The person who hid food and ate alone was shamed, loudly, in front of everyone. For hours, ancient human society ran on a reputation economy long before the FICO score existed. And the campfire was where your credit rating got calculated every single night. A good reputation meant people would share with you when you had nothing. A bad reputation meant you were on your own. In evolutionary terms, being on your own meant death. So your brain learned deeply structurally at the hardware level to care enormously about what other people think of your financial behavior. Fast forward to today, and that ancient wiring is still running. It's why you feel a flash of shame when you check your bank account. It's why spending money in front of other people feels different than spending it alone. It's why you'll work an extra shift to avoid borrowing money from a friend, even when the math says borrowing is cheaper. The campfire jury never stopped meeting. It just moved inside your skull. Understanding this is the first step to making smarter decisions, because you can't override a system you don't know exists. Once you see it, you can use it instead of letting it use you. Now let's talk about what else was happening during those long nights, because it wasn't just storytelling. It was also the original version of what modern behavioral economists call future self-visualization. When you sit with nothing to do in the dark for 10 hours, your mind naturally starts projecting forward. What if the rains don't? What if the herd moves east? What if 3 people in our group get injured at the same time? Hunter-gatherers were not carefree, live-in-the-moment creatures. Anthropological evidence suggests they were obsessive contingency planners. The San people of southern Africa maintained complex mental maps of food sources across hundreds of miles of territory, remembered drought patterns going back generations, and maintained reciprocal gift relationships with dozens of other bands, specifically as an insurance network. No spreadsheet, no financial advisor, no IRS form, just memory, relationship, and the long dark hours of the night when their brains rehearsed every possible future they could imagine. Think about what that means for you right now. Your brain has a natural capacity for long-range financial planning that most personal finance gurus charge a premium to teach you. You were literally built for it. The problem is not capability. The problem is that the modern world has filled every single dark and quiet moment with stimulation. The hour before bed, which was the peak planning and visualization window for your ancestors, is now the hour you spend watching somebody renovate a kitchen on YouTube, or argue with strangers about something that will not matter in 4 days. The ancient night was long and quiet and full of mental space. Your financial future got planned in that space. You burned the space, and your future self-visualization capacity, still sitting in your prefrontal cortex waiting to be used, never gets activated. This is not a motivational lecture. This is neuroscience. Your brain does its best long-range thinking in low stimulation, relaxed but awake state. The campfire created that state for 12 hours every night. You have, on average, about 45 minutes before you fall asleep. Use them differently and you will make different decisions tomorrow. Here is the part that connects directly to your wallet. The campfire was also where ancient humans processed loss, and how they processed loss determined everything about how they behaved the next day. Behavioral finance has a concept called loss aversion, established by Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky, which says that the psychological pain of losing something is roughly twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining the equivalent thing. Lose $100, feel terrible. Gain $100, feel okay. The math is the same. The emotional experience is not. And this is not a modern quirk, this is ancient. When a hunt failed, When the group came back with nothing after 3 days and people were hungry, the night that followed was critical. Groups that spent that night catastrophizing, spiraling into fear and recrimination, made worse decisions the next morning. They took reckless gambles. They abandoned proven strategy. They pointed fingers and fractured the cooperation that made them effective. Groups that spent the night telling stories about past successes, reminding each other of times scarcity had been survived, planning methodically rather than emotionally. Those groups came out of the night ready to execute. Loss aversion kept them alive because it made them cautious. But unprocessed loss aversion made them panic and die anyway, just slower. You do this every single time the market drops. Your 401k balance goes down 8% and the ancient loss aversion circuitry fires at full power. The campfire in your head convenes an emergency session. Voices start talking about worst case future. Your portfolio in that moment is not a financial instrument. It is a mammoth hunt that failed. And every instinct you have is pushing to do something, anything, to feel less afraid. That something is usually sell, and selling into a downturn is the most reliably wealth-destroying behavior in American personal finance. The S&P 500 has returned an average of roughly 10% annually over the last century, about 7% in real inflation-adjusted terms. Every major drop has been followed by recovery. Every single one. The investors who held through the 2008 crash, through the COVID collapse of 2020, through every bear market in history, they recovered and then some. The investors who sold at the bottom locked in losses, and then had to decide when to get back in, which meant they usually bought back in higher after the fear had passed. They paid for their emotions twice. Your ancient brain was designed to respond to loss with immediate action, because in the savannah, delayed action got you eaten. In the stock market, immediate emotional action gets you poor. The mismatch is real, it is documented, and it is costing American households billions of dollars every single year. So what do you do with this? You rebuild the campfire. Not literally, though honestly, sitting around an actual fire at night is one of the most neurologically calming things a human can do, and there is peer-reviewed research to back that up. But functionally, what the fire provided was a structured, low-stimulation environment, where the social group processed the day, planned the future, and told stories that reinforce shared values around fairness and resource management. You can create a version of that in your own life. It does not require a financial advisor, a premium app subscription, or a weekend seminar in Vegas. It requires 30 minutes a night with your phone face down and your actual financial situation in front of you. Not to panic, not to obsess, just to look, to plan, to remind yourself of where you are going and why. The ancient humans who sat around that fire and said, here is what happened today, here is what we learned, here is what we do tomorrow, were the ones who survived. That is still the formula. It has not changed in 70,000 years. Let's talk about the social dimension one more time, because it is underrated in every personal finance conversation you will ever have. The campfire group did not just plan individually, they planned collectively. Resource sharing, reciprocal obligations, collective insurance against individual bad luck, these were not nice-to-have features of ancient society. They were the primary survival technology. A single hunter having a bad month was not abandoned to starve. The group carried him because next month it might be you, and the month after that it might be someone else. And over time, the averaged out risk of living together was far lower than the individual risk of going it alone. Modern Americans have largely dismantled this architecture. The cultural emphasis on financial individualism, on pulling yourself up, on not needing anyone, on making it on your own, is directly at odds with the social risk pooling behavior that kept your ancestors alive for 100,000 years. The people in your life who know your real financial situation, who you can call when things go sideways, who you would genuinely help if their situation reversed, those relationships are not soft assets. They are your original insurance policy. They predate every product the insurance industry has ever sold. Tend them like the campfire they actually are. There is one more thing that happened in the ancient night that nobody talks about in sleep itself. Specifically, segmented sleep, a pattern that historian Roger Eckerch documented through centuries of written records before artificial light disrupted it. Before electricity, humans did not sleep in one long 8-hour block. They slept in 2 segments with a quiet waking period of 1 to 2 hours in the middle of the night. During that waking period, they were calm, meditative, and creative in a way that was neurologically distinct from either sleep or normal daytime alertness. They thought through problems. They had conversations with sleeping partner. They prayed or meditated. They made decisions about the next. The psychiatrist Thomas Ware ran experiments in the 1990s that confirmed modern humans still default to this pattern when removed from artificial light. That middle of the night window is not insomnia. It is your brain entering a state of deep reflective processing that it was designed to enter every single night. And before you reach for your phone, which will kill the neurological state within approximately 90 seconds, consider that this is one of the most underutilized thinking windows in your financial life. The decisions that feel impossible at 3 p.m. often clarify at 2 a.m. when your brain is in that ancient between sleep space. Your best financial insight might not come from a podcast or a book. It might come from lying in the dark and actually using the hardware your ancestors refined over millennia. Here is the bottom line, and it is worth sitting with for a minute. The gap between where you are financially and where you want to be is almost never a knowledge gap. By the time someone is watching a finance video on YouTube, they know they should be investing consistently. They know compounding works. They know that $100 a month in a low-cost index fund at 7% real return over 40 years becomes more than $260,000. They know the oven should stay on. The gap is behavioral. And the behavior was shaped in the dark, around fires, over thousands of generations, in ways that made complete sense then, and create completely predictable misfires now. Loss aversion that saved lives now triggers panic selling. Reputation sensitivity that maintains social cooperation now creates spending decisions made for an audience that isn't watching. short-term threat response that caught predators now responds to quarterly earnings reports. You are not irrational. You are running ancient software on modern hardware, in an environment your ancestors never imagined, full of manufactured urgency and artificial stimulation designed by billion-dollar companies to keep you reactive and distracted, and definitely not sitting quietly in the dark making long-range plans. Turn off the phone an hour earlier tonight. Sit with the quiet. Let your brain run the planning loops it was built to run. Think about where you are, where you are going, and what one small move tomorrow could compound into something real over time. The most sophisticated financial planning tool ever built is not an app. It is the 3 pounds of ancient wetware sitting behind your eyes, and it does its best work in exactly the conditions you keep denying it. Your ancestors figured out how to survive ice ages and famines and predators without a single financial product. They did it in the dark, together with stories and plans and the long patient work of thinking carefully about the future. You have everything they had plus index fund. Use both.